Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Las Vegas City Councilman Stavros is running for Lieutenant Governor. He's here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Calamity. It lurks around every corner. Or not. That's why UMC Quick Care is around every corner, with locations around the valley. UMC Quick Care. For all your small calamities.
I'm here at the Carson Valley Inn in Minden with Joey Whitaker. One of the things I love about the Carson Valley Inn here in beautiful downtown Minden is CV steak. I have eaten here so many times. Tell folks what they can expect when they come here to eat.
It's a beautiful room, great service. We have certified Angus beef, seafood, lamb, a great range of appetizers, and wonderful desserts. Jean-Michel's done a great job of selecting some beautiful wines for us. The customers love it, and we've got a great selection of cocktails as well. It's not a long way to get away to the Carson Valley Inn.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years.
Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Calamity. It lurks around every corner. Or not. That's why UMC Quick Care is around every corner, with locations around the valley. UMC Quick Care. For all your small calamities.
Nevada Newsmakers Studio is located at the headquarters of the Nevada Trucking Association. Motion and purpose are a truck's greatest virtue.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we are pleased to welcome to the program Stavros. He is currently a Las Vegas City Councilman. He is running for Lieutenant Governor, previously ran for County Commission. Pleasure to have you on the program, sir.
Great to be with you, Sam. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, and a former member of Metro for many years until you retired. You're running for Lieutenant Governor. My first question is, why, sir?
Well, when you look at the responsibilities of the Lieutenant Governor for the state of Nevada, the responsibilities fit my experience perfectly. I mean, first is the Lieutenant Governor chairs the Tourism Commission, so I've been promoting tourism with the Las Vegas City Council for the last 12 years, and I think we've done a pretty good job, especially when it comes to downtown Las Vegas. We really focused on making sure tourists that come to downtown Las Vegas are in a safe environment, are in a great environment. We helped our tourism industry grow and prosper. So I've been doing that for the last 12 years, and so I know what I'm doing in that area, and I plan on doing it for the entire state. The second responsibility is being a member of the Transportation Commission, and I'm currently a member of the Regional Transportation Commission for Southern Nevada. Plus, when I was at Metro, I was the captain of the Transportation Safety Bureau, so I have a lot of experience in transportation issues, and I want to make sure that Nevada is a great place to fly in and out of, whether you're going to Las Vegas or Reno. We have great roads, that they're safe roads, so I have experience there. Third, the Lieutenant Governor has Homeland Security responsibilities, and that's been my, as you mentioned, my career at Metro. I was with Metro for 29 years. I was a police officer for 10. I was a sergeant for 5, a lieutenant for 4 years, and in my last 10 years, I was a captain. So I've been the commander of quite a few areas, so I know public safety. I know Homeland Security, and I plan on traveling the state and finding out from our police chiefs, our sheriffs, our firefighters, our fire chiefs, and everyone else what exactly they need from the state to make sure they keep their community safe. And then finally, the lieutenant governor is the president of the Senate, so actually runs the legislative body. And I'm currently the mayor pro tem for the city of Las Vegas, so I run our city council meetings whenever the mayor's not available. And so I know how to run a legislative body such as the Las Vegas City Council. So the lieutenant governor fits my experience perfectly, and that's why I'm asking the residents of Nevada to select me as their next lieutenant governor.
All right, well, let's start out with an obvious question first, which is obviously you would like a Republican to be elected governor, that you could run with them. Do you have a favorite at this point as you look at the primary candidates?
I do not. I know every single person running for governor. I'm friends with them, and I'm going to let them duke it out, and I'm going to stay out of the Republican governor's campaign, and I'll let the voters decide who they want as their Republican nominee for governor.
What was your relationship like with Joe Lombardo when you were serving together?
Great. I mean, we never actually worked side by side. We worked different parts of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. It's a big police department, but we were captains together in different areas. We were lieutenants together in different areas. Like I said, we never crossed paths, but we both of us had a good reputation at Metro.
Do you have concerns if Steve Sisolak is reelected that the lieutenant governor's position, if it were to go to a Republican, would not be much more than just presiding over the Senate?
Well, that's an interesting question. If for some reason I'm elected as the lieutenant governor and there's a Democrat governor, I just plan on doing my job as lieutenant governor when it comes to Homeland Security and tourism and supporting small businesses. I'm going to be out there working full time for the residents of Nevada. And if I believe the governor is doing something correct, then I'll support him. If he's not doing something correct, if he's violating my conservative values and the people that I represent, I'll call him out on it. I have no problems doing that. But you know, it's interesting when I was first elected to the Las Vegas City Council in 2009, I was the first Republican elected in 15 years, and I was told that you can't get elected to the Las Vegas City Council. They're not going to let you on there, and I ended up winning, and it was. I was the lone Republican conservative on the Las Vegas City Council, and I'll give credit. Oscar Goodman was the mayor, and I'll never forget. You know, I was voting 6-1. There was a lot of 6-1 votes. I was voting against a lot of primarily spending issues, and Oscar Goodman came up to me about about a year into my tenure, and he said, "Listen, I don't like that you're voting against a lot of my initiatives, but at least you do it respectfully and you're professional and you don't attack anybody. And I really appreciate that. You're standing on your policies and you don't attack anybody personally. So I'll be doing the same thing if I am the lieutenant governor and the governor is a Democrat. I'll respectfully disagree when I want to disagree."
And you're not the only Republican on the City Council now. You have Michelle Fiore and Victoria Seaman as colleagues on the Republican side as well, which I think says a lot about the difference between perhaps state politics and city politics.
Yeah, that's we ended up 12 years ago having one, and today we have 3 Republicans, and I think it's a good thing because we have better debates, we have better discussions, we vet issues a lot better. We try to find some middle ground if we can do that. So I think we have a lot healthier discussions, and I think we get some good things done at the city of Las Vegas.
Carolyn Goodman was very outspoken from the beginning of the COVID outbreak all the way through to today. Do you agree with her positions against the positions of Steve Sisolak in terms of mandates, et cetera?
Absolutely. I was working with her when she came out against all these mandates, and I appreciate her bravery. And She was absolutely right. You know, when this first started 2 years ago, people really didn't understand what was going on. It was a new virus, but the overreaction by our governor and by the state legislature was just unbelievable, shutting everything down, deciding what an essential worker is and what a non-essential worker is, mandating masks, mandating vaccines. It was a complete overreaction. And Carolyn Goodman, and I agreed with her, saw that right from the beginning. And for 2 years, we've gone through this tragedy where, the state legislature ended up changing all our election laws under the guise of COVID because it was an emergency, just like all the other emergency directives that the governor issued. And he did not have the authority to do it. And they're finally starting to come around because the election's coming up, which is unfortunate. I think a lot of these measures were put in place because California was doing it, and a lot of these measures were put in place without the science backing them up.
What did you think about the fact that the mask mandate was dropped right before the Super Bowl? Was that kind of an interesting timing there?
This is all politics. It was dropped before the Super Bowl. It's being dropped before the primary election coming up. The Democratic Party knows that their draconian issues are not boding well for the residents of Nevada. I think they're scared, and that's why they're starting to lift all these things up, believing that that Nevadans are going to forget. And I don't think they will. I don't think they're going to forget how this government in the state of Nevada treated them the last 2 years. And I think there's going to be a lot of pushback.
As we are taping this, we're taping this the morning of February 23rd. The governor will be doing an off-year State of the State address from Allegiant Stadium. What do you think about that?
Well, it's my understanding there hasn't been an off-year State of the State address in, I think, 10, 12 years.
Yeah, Jim Gibbons did the last one, yeah.
Was it Jim Gibbons was the last one? Okay. And to do it in a stadium where there aren't going to be any people in there just shows it doesn't make sense to me. It's gonna continue to show that they really don't care about the residents of Nevada. I don't know what he's going to talk about. I'll just wait and read it in the paper tomorrow, whatever he says. But this is, as far as I'm concerned, this is purely political.
So you think of it as a campaign appearance?
Yes, I do. I think just look at what's happening is they're starting to lay off on the vaccine mandates. They're laying off on the mask mandates. They're trying to explain themselves, and they should have been doing this 2 years ago. A year ago, 18 months ago, they should have been allowing people to decide whether they wanted a vaccine, whether they wanted to wear a mask, whether or not they wanted to keep their business open or closed. They're starting to do it now, and it's not coincidence. I know they're doing it for political reasons.
Okay, but do you think they started it because of political reasons, or that there's been an evolving of thought on how to deal with COVID from the beginning? Because as we saw what was happening certainly on the East Coast, and with Las Vegas especially, and Reno to a lesser extent, being big convention cities, that there was concern to go too far in one direction, but they've evolved since then.
Well, 2 years ago, when this first started, people were scared. People were getting sick. People were, unfortunately, a certain segment of the population was dying from COVID. So we were all very concerned. We all didn't really know what was going on. But as the science started to appear and show that it was seniors that were the most affected by COVID, it was people that were already sick from something else that were affected by COVID, that little kids were not affected by COVID. We knew this a year ago, and they still forced kids to wear masks in school for absolutely no scientific reason. That's just a perfect example of how this all started with, with a very worrisome COVID, but it just went on too long, and they dragged these emergency measures way too long, and they forced people to do things that were absolutely unnecessary for the last 2 years. It's been absolutely ridiculous.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back more with Las Vegas City Councilman Stavros Anthony running for Lieutenant Governor after this time out.
Serving Our Kids Foundation's mission is to serve homeless, at-risk, and food insecure children in grades K through 8 throughout Southern Nevada. During the pandemic, Serving Our Kids has seen a 42% increase in the number of children served, providing more than 4,500 meals to kids in over 100 schools weekly. Serving Our Kids is powered by community support and volunteers. To learn how you can help, visit servingourkids.org.
The Do It Right guys at Nevada Heating have one mission. Your furnace breaks down today, we fix it today. Why freeze for days while your furnace is down when Nevada Heating can get the job done today and you can get warm again? For nearly 50 years, locally owned Nevada Heating has been getting the job done right. Call today at 323-5585 and we'll fix it today. That's 323-5585 or online at nevadaheating.com.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Stavros Anthony. He is Republican candidate for Lieutenant Governor, currently a sitting member of the Las Vegas City Council. You had a very tight race for county commission. It was really in the balance. It was going backward and forward between recounts, etc. With Ross Miller. You eventually did decide not to go forward with that. Let me ask you this. With the changes in election law that's occurred through the legislature, win or lose, are you comfortable with the way the elections are going to be run in Nevada this coming cycle?
I'm actually not very comfortable. I mean, let's look at what the governor and the Democrat legislature did. As I mentioned before, under COVID, they decided to do an all mail-in ballot. They decided to make ballot harvesting legal when, 4 years ago it was a felony. And then you put on top of all that, no voter ID to vote. The signature verification is a joke. The automatic registration at DMV, same-day registration. Some of those were put in place because of COVID, and then the next legislative session they made them permanent for some reason. And if you go back to Jimmy Carter, he did his presidency did put a committee together, and they basically said the best way to cheat in an election is an all mail-in ballot. That is how you cheat. You send everybody a ballot. People that are dead get ballots. People that don't live here anymore get ballots, and who knows who fills those out because there's nothing checked. And a perfect example is when, as you mentioned, when I ran for the Clark County Commission, I ended up, when I woke up the day after the election, I was up 1,700 votes. I had won that election, and I was getting congratulations from everyone because, again, it was another one of these, a Republican hadn't been elected to the Clark County Commission in 15 years. And for the next 10 days, all they did was count mail-in ballots, and they counted mail-in ballots. And at the end of the mail-in ballots, I ended up losing by 10 votes because the mail-in ballots are used to cheat, and all these mechanisms are still in place in this election cycle. The only difference is we didn't really understand what the Democrats decided to do in the last election. This time we know what's going on, and we're going to be paying a lot more attention. I know the Republican Party has sent people into the state of Nevada to put together mechanisms to try to make sure that the cheating is kept to a minimum, but it's still something that I'm very worried about.
All right, so let me ask you this. It was a 10-vote difference. In the recount, if you had ended up winning by 10 votes, would you be complaining about that?
Well, actually, what happened before the recount is even worse. I had lost by 10 votes, but the register for Clark County went to the Clark County Commission, and it's an agendized item, and this is where they canvass the votes and decide to certify the votes. That's what they do. So the register told the Clark County Commission, again, all Democrats, that they can certify all the elections in Clark County except for Stavros Anthony's election in District C. He said he lost by 10 votes, but I have 139 problem votes here. I don't know who these people voted for. So if the spread was 1,000, then 139 is not going to matter. But because it was 10 votes, he told the Clark County Commission, I can't certify this election. I don't know who won. And I'm recommending to you that you hold a special election in order to decide who actually won. And that's what we wanted. We wanted a special election. And the Clark County Commission voted 6-1 to hold a special election at that meeting. So we were getting geared up. 2 weeks later, the Clark County Commission, all Democrats, agendized it again. No public comment, no reason. Revoted 7-0 to certify the election. And that was how the Clark County Commission stole the election. That was an absolute travesty for them to do that. There should have been a special election. The people should have voted again in District C. They didn't allow it because they did not want a Republican on the Clark County Commission. And that's where I ended up doing the recounts. And what's interesting about the recount is initially it was a 10-vote loss. In the middle of the recount, it was a 30-vote loss. At the end of the recount, it was officially a 15-vote loss. So the recount changed twice, and that never happens. Recounts are supposed to be exactly how it ended. So the whole election was a tragedy. And but you know what? It's over. It's done with. Nothing I can do about it. It shows who the Clark County Commission is today. And I'm moving on, and that's why I'm running for lieutenant governor. So at least as the president of the Senate, I can have some influence over legislation in the Senate. And one of them is going to be election integrity. That's one thing I'm really going to push hard, is get rid of all these mechanisms for cheating in elections.
All right, stand by. We'll take another break, and we'll be right back.
Dimitri Prine here for Design Outdoor. Come visit Design Outdoor's store and backyard to see our wide selection of fire pits, barbecues, and pizza ovens, natural stone water features and fountains, and frost-proof pottery. Our store and backyard are located at 11600 South Virginia, just north of DeMonte Ranch Parkway. Visit designoutdoor.com or call us at 851-9499.
One of the most psychologically damaging things parents can do to children in divorce is disparage one another, which is why I can't believe I even have to make this commercial. Half of your kids' genetics come from this person you're spewing hate about. Your children have the right to love you both, but more than that, they deserve to love themselves.
Marilyn York might be a men's rights divorce attorney, but this is for every selfish parent. Shut up.
Hi, I'm Dave Newman. Remember me? I used to be the house detective, and now I'm a realtor full-time at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates. A lot of people ask me, how's the market? You know what? It's fantastic. If you're even kicking around the idea of buying or selling, give me a call. Let's talk about it. Call me at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates and just ask for the guy who used to be the house detective, Dave Newman.
Everyone is talking about opioids, but they're not the only drugs that can be harmful if taken in large quantities or not as prescribed. You also need to be aware of side effects from anxiety drugs, muscle relaxants, sleep aids, and stimulants. Mixing prescription drugs with other drugs or alcohol can be dangerous. If you take Ambien with a glass of wine, it may be enough to stop you from breathing. Prescribed drugs can be just as dangerous as illegal drugs. Take medications only as directed.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And Back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Stavros Antony. He is a sitting Las Vegas City Councilman. He is a Republican candidate for Lieutenant Governor. Why do you think that with all of this, that Republican, very Republican Secretary of State Barbara Sagaski has not come out and backed up your claims and said that the election the last time around was a fair election with a minimal amount of problems?
You know, that's a great question, Sam. I don't know. The Secretary of State did not get involved in my Clark County Commission race. I don't know why. It's something that the Lieutenant Governor is the Secretary of State is responsible for, is to make sure that we do have free and fair elections. So you really have to talk to her on why she decided not to get involved.
But I mean, there's nobody more conservative than Barbara Sagaski.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think that's a great question to ask her.
All right, that's where we have to leave it for today. You're always welcome back, sir, and we look forward to debates right here on this program. I hope you'll take part.
Thanks for having me, Sam. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, and we'll be right back. Brian Culpa Photography was born in the rolling hills of Massachusetts, and now he can help you experience the stunning beauty of Nevada in a whole new way through the power of flight. Flying has always been a passion for Brian, and at Brian Culpa Photography, he can make your imagination soar. Brian has the creative mind and tools to tell your unique story. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Hi, my name's Marilyn Miner, and I'm sure you'd agree that Nevada's a very special place to live. I was born here, and my husband and I have raised our family here. I feel it's a privilege to live and work in the Truckee Meadows. I especially enjoy helping my clients reach their real estate goals. Sometimes the smallest details provide the greatest satisfaction. I'd be complimented to talk to you about your next move.
Call Marilyn Miner at Dixon Realty, 742-1280, or log on to marilynminer.com.
Safety. We all think about it. You think about it when he buckles in, when you check your mirrors and put away your phone. RTC thinks about safety too. In fact, we create it. Center turn lanes mean fewer blind spots. Bike lanes keep cyclists and you safe. Roundabouts reduce injury collisions, and all these crosswalks are designed to keep families like yours safe. Safety is your priority, and it's ours too. Every day, in everything we do.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
You can now watch Nevada Newsmakers on YouTube. Subscribe to our Nevada Newsmakers channel. We'll see you on the next broadcast.